If you've been attached anywhere to the gaming sphere over the last few weeks, you probably know about these two things. The cancellation of Overwatch 2 PVE and the latest Sony showcase. In this Sony showcase, they announced a new reboot for Marathon. I was initially excited as I'm a huge Halo fan until I found out one detail. It's going to be a PvP only extraction shooter. This news combined with the now infamous cancellation of Overwatch's long awaited PvE and made me ask one question. What happened to PvE? Why is nearly every shooter nowadays multiplayer only? Okay, I guess that's two questions, but there's more to this PvE extinction than these two announcements. At one point, not having a campaign in an FPS game was considered taboo. Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch released without a campaign and were criticized for it. On the other hand, Doom 2016 and Titanfall 2 received high praise for their high-quality single-player experiences. However, later in this period, two games also released that would change everything. PUBG and Fortnite Battle Royale. PUBG got incredibly high relevance in sales despite the lack of the campaign, and Fortnite improved the formula to eventually become downright inescapable. You literally could not go anywhere without seeing it in Fortnite's peak. All of this, however, was at the cost of Fortnite's previous PvE mode, Save the World, and unfortunately, this would be one of the many trends Fortnite would set. You guys remember Titanfall 2? Everyone who played it thought it was great, but not too many people played it. So the developers made a new Battle Royale game with similar mechanics, and thus Apex Legends was born. Spoiler alert, it becomes more successful than its precursor. Call of Duty would also forsake the campaign for a Battle Royale, but they also did the stupid and greedy move of making it $60 when the competitors were free to play. Extinction wasn't giving up on the prospect of making boatloads of dollars for Bobby Kotick, so they made a regular Call of Duty game, and then they made a free-to-play Battle Royale to go with it. Guess what? It made a lot of money, and a lot of people played it. However, the one game that I think had the most impact with this was Halo Infinite. Halo games would usually release with a campaign and multiplayer together for $60, but now Infinite would make the multiplayer free to play. It sounds good, but in hindsight, I think this was a bad idea. With previous games, they had a progression system to unlock all the cosmetics through gameplay, except in Halo 5. But now a lot of the cosmetic items are locked behind a paywall. That's in the past though, but the most recent examples of this shift away from PvE are the aforementioned Marathon reboot and Overwatch 2. So we've gone full circle. Now let's ask the question, what's the deal with campaigns being removed? It's money. It's always money. Why would it not be money? If it hasn't been apparent between the increase in price in games, the rise of microtransactions and battle passes, and every game trying to shove live service features into them, game companies have never won your money more than ever. While selling a game once will only give a single payment from one player at a time, a live service model and microtransactions can cause a few select players to give these companies all the money they need. And while not everyone can afford a $60 game, almost everyone can afford a battle pass for $10. You can also update the game all the time, so you can gaslight your eyes into accepting less because your game will be finished later. Spoiler alert, that almost never happens. Yeah, I'm still bitter about Overwatch 2, how could you tell? The cool part of live service games is that if it gets too big, you just remove content. Wanted to play the original Destiny 2 campaign? Too bad, it's gone, go buy the new Lightfall campaign instead. Also, why do so many critiques on live service seem to gloss over that last part? Like, we are literally giving them the license to rob us in broad daylight, and none of you guys are saying crap about it. However, you've probably heard all of this before. Some of you might not even care about any of this. You might be going, why should I care? People only play these games for the multiplayer. There's a common sentiment around FPS games, and one that's also completely wrong. Let's go back to the Overwatch 2 PvE example. When talking about the movement's appeal, the developers talking about how there were people that liked the gameplay of Overwatch, but didn't like the sweatiness of multiplayer. There's a clear audience appeal that just wants about AI rather than other human players. But that's just one game. How will you instead look at a bigger franchise like Call of Duty? If people didn't care about the campaign, we would have gotten everyone talking about the new Ghost of the Modern Warfare 2 reboot. If it really wasn't that important, people wouldn't be so upset when the campaign is bad or straight up isn't there. If it's so insignificant as these streamers make it out to be, then people would be fondly looking back at and replaying COD 4 and World at War for their campaigns. Are you still not convinced? Well, that Halo 2 challenge voice critical setup. Can you guess what it was? A challenge to beat Halo 2 on Legendary with all skulls on, which was a campaign challenge. But those are older campaigns that can fondly look back through nostalgia. If only there was a more recent FPS single-player experience everyone's talking about. To say Doom Eternal was a phenomenon in 2020 would be an understatement. Nearly everyone was talking about it in mid-2020 along with the new Animal Crossing game. It ended up creating a loyal fanbase that is looked back upon as a masterpiece. But people weren't playing Doom Eternal for the multiplayer, but rather the excellent campaign. This is what people really care about, what people made channels on, and countless memes of. Another game that has spawned a cult following, granted to a lesser degree, is Ultra Kill. Yet another single-player only game that has taken the scene by storm, always popping back up into the public eye after a new update drops. These games are proof that you can make a game relevant without needing ranked grinds or battle passes. You just need a great game with high replay value and novelty. This is what baffles me even more on Bungie deciding to shift away from single-player games, as Jason Jones said that Common Evolved didn't really have any incentives to play it again. What he said was the only incentive was, get this, because they had fun. Because having fun with a game is now secondary to battle pass grinding, daily challenges, and gear grinding, am I right? It's a dreadful prospect to make a game that doesn't try to extract as much money out of a player as possible as a complete package. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. However, campaigns aren't the only part of this puzzle. Co-op shooters still have demand. People like to do things as a group, and playing video games is no exception. It's the reason we even play multiplayer games in the first place, and why a lot of FPS games have co-op features. Who has the campaign able to be played with friends along with Firefight? At least it used to have that. Call of Duty has zombies and Spec Ops, Team Fortress 2 has Man vs. Machine, and some games are completely dedicated to co-op. Examples of these include Left 4 Dead 2, Payday 2, Vermintide, and Deep Rock Galactic. The side modes have garnered niche sub-communities, and the dedicated games have retained lasting player bases. Co-op is not a niche genre, it is a universal demand. What's even more proven is the collective disappointment over Overwatch's campaign getting cancelled, which shows that there was a lot of people who wanted to play it. But nope, instead we keep getting mediocre events that are just advertisements for skins. Now let's end this video before it turns into me ranting about Overwatch again. Despite how bad things may seem, there's always a silver lining. More and more live services are dying out, and companies will pay attention to trends, both positive and negative. To add on to this idea, we still see massive single-player releases like Elden Ring and Tears of the Kingdom getting huge amounts of coverage and sales. If this keeps up, we'll probably be back to enjoying high-quality AAA FPS campaigns again. But then again, you can't always rely on quality increase, nor can you predict the future. Only time will tell, as they say. Thanks for watching, and tell me what you think in the comments below. Goodbye.